What's up, motherfuckers? Guess what? It's the hater back again, hating on a bitch ass. Today, we're going to be talking about today's episode. That's October 14th, 2019's episode of Raw, also known as the second part of the draft. This one had 40 people that were drafted, or was it, what was it? 30 people that were drafted, sorry, out of a possible 40, or some shit like that. Needless to say, it was complete garbage. I can't believe I'm saying this, but once again, based on only their second show alone, AEW has done better than WWE thus far, since AEW started. We start this off with a little recap of what happened in Hell in a Cell, which we already know. Basically, the Firefly Funhouse is gay. Bray Wyatt is gay. Nobody cares about this guy. He's the same exact character. He should be a jobber. He's good in the ring. I give him that. But this is just stupid. Like, let's be honest here. It's a grown man pretending to be a children's show character. And we have to pretend that the Firefly Funhouse is some sort of children's show just in order to justify The Fiend coming out once in a while and being creepy. I don't give a shit at all. Nobody should care about this guy. Next, we have Becky versus Charlotte in the predictable Raw versus SmackDown. Whoever gets the win gets the first pick match. Like I said in the last episode, when we talked about SmackDown, obviously Raw is going to win just to keep the trend of Raw, SmackDown, Raw, because it would be stupid to have two Raw picks in a row. So, of course, Charlotte comes out, tells Becky she wants to be friends, and Becky wins with a crucifix pin. This is pretty much, like, if you had to sum up Becky's career it with two words, it would be crucifix pin. That's how she won at WrestleMania. That's how she won tonight. I am sick of the four horsewomen. Every single time they wrestle, it's just some different combination of them as faces or heels. Now, Charlotte turned heel for what I'm assuming is only the day. Everyone else is heel. Becky is face. I bet you in 6 months, Becky will be heel and Sasha will be face. And we're going to be continuing to watch this garbage and accepting it. I'm tired. They've all wrestled each other like 15 times. There's nothing left. There's nothing left but for the four horsewomen to be released, in my opinion. But that's neither here nor there. The match determined that Raw gets the first pick. Then we go to a backstage interview with Rollins talking about Hell in a Cell. The fans boo loudly. They're trying to protect Rollins without having him come out, so on Raw at least. So the fans just boo him from the back, and he says that the Fiend might not be human at all and almost pulled him straight to hell. Now, we of course know the Fiend is Bray Wyatt in kayfabe, so there's no reason to really be that scared of the Fiend. He whooped his ass. He beat him with a hammer. The Fiend has lost to everyone that he's ever wrestled, basically. Has Bray Wyatt ever won a feud? Like, has this cocksucker ever won one feud, man? He lost against Ambrose. He lost against Rollins back in the day. Roman Reigns whooped his ass. I guess he beat Kane. John Cena destroyed him and buried him completely like he should have. Even Daniel Bryan, you could argue, won that feud. Anyways, whatever. Who cares, right? Seth says he's going to go Fiend hunting. And he's going to find the Fiend and basically whoop his ass, which is weird because in kayfabe, again, we have to emphasize this, motherfuckers. Kayfabe is supposed to be important. In kayfabe, the Fiend is a scary guy. There is no reason why Seth Rollins should all of a sudden be brave and go after the Fiend. At the same time, Seth Rollins beat Brock Lesnar, so there's absolutely no reason he should be scared of the Fiend, but yet here we are. Then they show some guy. I'm sure he's someone that maybe baseball nerds know or something, but he was some guy. He looked like a cuck. He was talking about wrestlers and who should be a good pick. It sucked. This guy shouldn't be here ever again. The only thing worse than this guy is the boardroom segments. Oh my God. This is like, thank God the draft is over because this was the worst draft of all time. Anyways, we get to the first round of the draft. As predicted, and this actually makes sense. Rollins gets drafted to Raw. He beat Brock Lesnar, who's the other champion, clean. So he should be going to Raw because Raw got the first pick. He should be the first pick. Obviously, he's also the Universal Champion, which is the red belt. That's obviously staying on Raw. So there you have it. Next, and I was afraid that they were going to screw this up. I was afraid that like they wouldn't pick Brock Lesnar as second because maybe he's part-time or something. But the only thing, like Brock Lesnar should be the first pick, period. But I guess I got Rollins. But whatever. Lesnar is clearly like if you were a network, if you were a fucking network, who would you want? Nobody, Seth Rollins, the unknown guy, or the household name, former UFC champion Brock Lesnar. So USA Network, if they were actually in charge, which obviously they aren't, they have that stupid actors in the boardroom, but if they were, they would have picked Lesnar. Never mind. Who cares? Rollins to Raw, Lesnar to SmackDown, Charlotte to Raw. Now this pick makes sense. Charlotte is the most decorated woman, I think, of all time. So that makes sense. She should have gone before people like Becky, but that's neither here nor there. New Day goes to SmackDown. This also makes sense. There was no other way to do this. I guess you could have flipped it so New Day goes before Charlotte, but New Day has to go because they've been tag team champions for like a fucking eternity. Kofi was just WWE champion. This is a no-brainer. Then we get a nice little surprise. Andrade to Raw. This was a great moment because it suggests to me and to everyone with half a brain that Andrade is going to get a push. He deserves it. Nobody deserves a push more than Andrade. Kofi Kingston does not deserve a push more than Andrade. He never deserved anything. So this is a good pick. Makes me happy. With that, we also get Selena Vega, who's doing an incredible job, as evidenced today, immediately after this round of the draft. Zelina comes out and says that it wasn't that Andrade was drafted in the same round as Rollins and Lesnar. It was that Rollins and Lesnar were drafted in the same round as Andrade, and I have to agree. Honestly, long-term potential, Andrade is a star. Let's be real. And then Zelina also proceeds to call the horsewomen the horse-faced women, taking a page out of the haters' book. The match, it ended up being Andrade versus Ali, who was a jobber. And Andrade beat him after Zelina did an apron Hurricane Rana to the outside. Andrade throws him in. And because Ali is a cuck, he just stands there and lets Andrade hit the Hammerlock DDT, or La Sombra, as it's called, and he wins. Next, we have the next part of the draft. Kabuki Warriors to Raw. Now, this might make sense because they're the tag champs, the female tag champs. However, as not Michael Cole, but whatever the fuck this guy's name is, Vic, whatever, the Michael Cole of Raw now, this guy explains that the Women's Tag Team Championship will be defended both on Raw and SmackDown, but should the Kabuki Warriors lose, then they become exclusive to Raw. Now, obviously, the only thing that makes the Kabuki Warriors interesting is the fact that they're champions. So this was not a justified pick, in my opinion. Next, we have Daniel Bryan to SmackDown. Now, Daniel Bryan, you know, I understand he's being reintroduced as like an upper mid-carder now. This is a guy that made event at WrestleMania. Now, and as much as I like Andrade and Charlotte is cool too, let's be real. Let's call it like it is, right? Daniel Bryan should go ahead of Andrade. Daniel Bryan's a former champion, a former WrestleMania main eventer. There's no reason why Daniel Bryan shouldn't be way above Charlotte and way above even New Day, honestly. Like honestly. I know I said good things about New Day and Charlotte, but let's be real. Who is more likely to become champion? Daniel Bryan or anyone in the New Day? Obviously, the answer is Daniel Bryan. Next, we have Rusev goes to Raw. Now, I think Lashley was drafted to Raw. I don't remember. But, I mean, almost certainly, right? They're going to continue this nonsense. Whatever. This is stupid because Rusev hasn't been around for like a year. So there's no reason why he would be this high up kayfabe-wise, but yet here he is. Bayley to SmackDown. Now, I said good things about Charlotte. Of course. Charlotte is awesome. And she was drafted to Raw. And I understand Bayley needs to stay on SmackDown for kayfabe reasons. But for Bayley to be drafted so low, so far below Charlotte, completely negates the fact that she beat Charlotte on Friday and that she is the women's champion. So, but I understand. Charlotte's Charlotte. Aleister Black to Raw. From a kayfabe perspective, this guy's drafted too high. He's had 3 matches, and I think all of them have been have been against people like Cesaro who went undrafted. So there's no reason to believe, kayfabe-wise again, that this guy is going to be a big star. Viking Raiders come out and wrestle Rude and Ziggler, and they win after hitting the Viking Experience. This made sense. Obviously, Rude and Ziggler are transitional champions. They were there in order to get the titles on the Viking Raiders as soon as possible so they can hopefully go and feud with the OC. You would want the OC to drop it to the Viking Raiders just like that. You have to get a feud out of that. Anyways, round 3, Cedric Alexander to Raw. This makes absolutely no sense. Or so I thought when this was announced. And I'm thinking to myself, now we're going to the jobbers, right? Cedric Alexander is that guy that lost like 7,000 times clean to AJ Styles. This guy, there is no reason to think that he will be a star. I like the kid. You know what I'm saying? I like him. But if you compare him to, let's say, Ricochet, clearly they're backing Ricochet. That's where they're heading towards. But whatever. Give us Cedric Alexander for now and turn him into the next Shelton Benjamin. Go ahead. That's where he's headed. Let's be honest. Nakamura to SmackDown. This makes no sense. Nakamura is the Intercontinental Champion. AJ Styles, who was the US Champion, was drafted in the first round last week, I guess, but on Friday, right? I understand you get the OC with him as well, but let's be real. The logic behind it is this. The champions matter. The champions should be drafted higher than the non-champions, right? That's just common sense. That's how you put a championship over. The fact that people like Cedric Alexander were drafted above Nakamura would seem to suggest that not only is Cedric Alexander more valuable than Nakamura, but he is more valuable than the Intercontinental Championship. Fuck it. Take Nakamura and hope that he loses the title. It doesn't matter. At least you have the title. The Intercontinental title, which in my opinion is the second most prestigious title in this company. Even though it's being held by Nakamura, who by every metric has been a flop. This guy, in my opinion, what they should do is take Nakamura, take Tozawa, take the Kabuki Warriors, eventually take Io Shirai, and maybe who else they got? Kushida, and form a Japanese stable. The gimmick can just be that they're Japanese wrestlers who are tired of being stereotyped, and they can be led by Nakamura, who is not a stereotype, and they can go and just beat the shit out of people. But no, instead, Nakamura to SmackDown. Next, the announcers tried to put this over as a huge pick. Now, I don't watch 205 Live, so I've only heard of this guy in passing, but Raw selects Humberto Carillo. Humberto Carillo. Now, this guy might be a great wrestler. I don't know enough to say whether he's a good wrestler or not, but let's be real. Who the fuck is Humberto Carillo, and why is he being drafted so high? Now, round 3 isn't that high. It's round 3 out of 6, so it's, I guess, mid-table. But once we talk about some of the people that got drafted after him, we will see that Humberto Carillo does not deserve to be in this draft at all, right? When you compare him to other people who were not drafted on Friday, like Cesaro and Eric Young, who I think is one of the best wrestlers of all time, personally, Humberto Carillo does not belong here. Next, we have Ali to SmackDown. Ali, even though he's also a 205 Live jobber, Ali has been pushed a little bit, and he has been given legit moments. Some say he was supposed to be in Kofi's shoes. At least part of that run should have belonged to Ali, or he should have had some sort of push, right? He almost won Money in the Bank. He was getting pushed up the ass. He beat Daniel Bryan clean. There's no reason, or I think he did. I could be wrong. So there's no reason why Ali should be drafted so low. Now you're probably thinking, hey, that's not that low. It's not that low, I agree. However, it's low when compared to the fact that Humberto Carillo got drafted above him. In addition to all this, Ali, even though he hasn't really done anything, he hasn't even been Cruiserweight champion, neither has Humberto Carillo. I don't even think Humberto Carillo has been on, like, TV. 205 Live is on the network, right? He hasn't even been on TV ever. So why the fuck would USA Network pick a guy that they haven't even seen? Whatever. He hasn't even been on their channel. Anyways, whereas Ali has been important on their channel. Sometimes. Ali to SmackDown, in the bottom where they show people's accomplishments, his accomplishment is he has worked as a police officer. Enough said. That's all you need to know about Ali. The only thing interesting about him is that he used to be a cop. Other than that, he is completely interchangeable with Mansoor from Saudi Arabia. I can't even tell the difference, honestly. They have the same haircut, the same goofy smile, and the same attitude. So they can go fuck themselves, both of them. Eric Rowan is drafted to Raw. Eric Rowan had a high-profile match at Hell in a Cell, arguably the best match of the night because I skipped the women's Hell in a Cell. Eric Rowan and Luke Harper should be drafted as one because Luke Harper is awesome and Eric Rowan is awesome. But for some reason, they weren't drafted as one. And more importantly, Eric Rowan still under Humberto Carillo, but still round 3, good for him. Honestly, this wasn't bad if you take away Humberto Carillo. Next, we have Aleister Black versus Eric Young. Now, Eric Young, in my opinion, like I said, one of the best wrestlers ever. He deserves more than this. He deserves better than this. Eric Young is awesome. He can wrestle. He can talk. He's charismatic. Aleister Black, I get it. This guy is like a hot commodity now, but I fear that he's going to have, I'm going to say it, motherfuckers. He's going to have a Vladimir Kozlov or maybe at most like a Santino level career. He might win the IC title once or twice, and that's it. This guy sucks overall. I will be honest, he's fun in the ring, he does good moves, but he is flabby and his gimmick makes no sense. He's supposed to be this dark vampire stuff. As a matter of fact, one of the dumbass announcers said, oh, straight out of Castlevania. No, that doesn't work. Enough with the video game stuff. Nonetheless, Aleister Black uses that behind the back dragon sleeper thing, which he now calls the Dark Ritual. So we have the Black Mass, the Dark Ritual. I mean, come on. Like, what the hell? This guy is supposed to be this dark character. He does martial arts. I don't like it. Anyways, round 4 of the draft, Buddy Murphy to Raw. All right. This is an appropriate place for Buddy Murphy. He's done absolutely nothing on SmackDown except be the victim of Rowan and Daniel Bryan. And he did beat Daniel Bryan clean once, but that was during Daniel Bryan's weird transition from heel to face now, it seems. Then Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler as a tag team are drafted to SmackDown. Now, Robert Roode at one point was like the hot prospect on NXT, a former NXT champion, and as recently as today, he was the Raw Tag Team Champion. Dolph Ziggler, I've always thought he was overrated, but let's be real. Dolph Ziggler is a multiple-time world champion, and the combination of Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode should be way higher than Buddy Murphy, higher than Cedric Alexander, and more importantly, higher than Humberto Carillo, and higher than Jinder Mahal, who is next on our list. But Jinder Mahal, former WWE champion, it's hard to tell what's going to happen to him. Most likely he's going to come back as a jobber, but I hope he doesn't because Jinder Mahal is entertaining. Next, Carmella to SmackDown. Fair enough. R-Truth to Raw. This is what killed me the most. R-Truth to Raw. So after all of these jobbers, R-Truth, a bona fide star, in my opinion, a good wrestler. He's been killing it with the 24/7 title. He's a 24/7 champion, which I know doesn't mean much because that title could change hands any moment. But the fact remains, R-Truth is R-Truth. He's better than Humberto Carillo. Ricochet defeats Shelton Benjamin, and it's ridiculous. He hits the code breaker or the recoil as he calls it, and Shelton Benjamin looks like $1 million still. He can still wrestle, but Ricochet is the guy they've chosen to win. Ricochet has yet to have a meaningful moment in WWE. He won the U.S. title in transition. He didn't deserve it. He sucks. His entrance is garbage. His music is garbage. He should be on 205 Live, let's be honest. Then we have Alana and Lashley massage segment. This is just dragging on too long. But Rusev deserves it for beating Mike Bennett up for no reason and cucking him, or at least leading us to believe that he cucked him. And, overall, I actually dig this. I dig this storyline, guys, because it's a storyline. This is what wrestling is. Wrestling is all about storylines. And it's a storyline. Not a great one, I'll admit, but a storyline. Then we have Tyson Fury and Braun's contract signing. Tyson Fury is a superstar, let's be honest. But this was one of the worst contract signings of all time because it was just a contract signing. They just sat down. They said, I know you. You know me. Let's blow each other after Saudi Arabia. They signed their contract. No one cares. This is just a stupid match. There's a lot of kowtowing to the Saudi market, but a little bit more on that later. Then we have the next draft, the next part of the draft. Now, this also killed me. Literally everyone here, except for maybe Tozawa, who is a cruiserweight, is better than everyone in the last 2 rounds. I'm not even joking. Everyone here is better. Samoa Joe is better. The Miz is better. Tozawa is not better. King Corbin is better. He's amazing. And Benjamin, underrated. So, just to recap, Samoa Joe to Raw, The Miz to SmackDown. The Miz had a singles match at WrestleMania. When the hell was the last time that any of the people above him in rounds 3 and 4 had a relevant match at WrestleMania? Come on. So, Samoa Joe to Raw, Miz to SmackDown, Tozawa to Raw. Hopefully he gets a little bit of push. I like Tozawa. Corbin to SmackDown. He's definitely going to get pushed. Benjamin to Raw. That will be meaningless. Buddy Murphy beats Cedric Alexander. So Buddy Murphy was drafted, I believe, in the 4th round. And Alexander was drafted in the 3rd round. So the 4th round guy beats the 3rd round guy, which goes to show that the boardrooms don't know what the fuck they're doing kayfabe-wise, right? Next, we have the last round of the draft, thankfully. Rey Mysterio, an absolute legend, one of the best of all times, gets drafted first by Raw. Once again, I hate to beat a dead horse, but Humberto Carillo, let's be real. That should be his thing. Humberto Carillo, let's be real. Fucking douchebag. Next, Shorty Gable to SmackDown. This is meaningless. Shorty Gable sucks. Titus O'Neil to Raw. He hasn't been on TV in about a year, so he shouldn't even be drafted at all. Cesaro should go higher than a Titus O'Neil. I understand they're on different days, but you get what I'm saying. Then we have Elias to SmackDown. It wasn't that long ago when Elias was a marquee attraction every week. People were looking forward to him. And now, he ain't even there. Last, and certainly least, Liv Morgan to Raw. Now, I gotta say it. Once again, keeping up with kayfabe. Where is John Cena? Why wasn't Cena drafted? I know that kayfabe-wise, he is part-time. Where was Taker? These are people that are members of the roster, and Fox or USA should want them. But whatever. The final match of the night was the Kabuki Warriors versus the worst concept ever. Natalya comes out and says that there's only one woman that pushes to the limit, even though she's been a jobber the majority of her career. That woman is Lacey Evans. They form an impromptu tag team, and at this point, I'm thinking they're going to beat the Kabuki Warriors. Only because, let's be real, right? They need, like, in the card, Natty and Lacey. Natty's getting a push of some sort, and Lacey is clearly a star, the best female wrestler they have after Charlotte. And I figured they'd beat the Kabuki Warriors. They didn't. No one really cared. And then the show ended with first informing me and the rest of the fans about the card in Crown Jewel. The important things are Cain Velasquez versus Lesnar, Tyson Fury versus Braun. That's pretty much it. That's the reason to watch the Crown Jewel. But in addition to that, we learned, or at least I learned, that one of the main events, that's right, motherfuckers, it's going to be Seth Rollins versus The Fiend Bray Wyatt in a Falls Count Anywhere match. So, typically, the way wrestling goes is the more extreme the match, the further down the storyline it is, right? So you might start with a normal match, right? Like Mankind and Triple H. Mankind and Triple H started wrestling here and there back in 1999, started a program with each other, right? They culminated that program, they continued the program in, I believe it was a street fight, whatever, a hardcore match basically, at Royal Rumble. Then, before WrestleMania, at No Way Out, they had a Hell in a Cell. Then at WrestleMania, Mick Foley was injected into the main event. This was clearly like a decision made afterwards. But the point I'm trying to make is that Hell in a Cell was how Mick Foley's career was supposed to end. And over here, just because Hell in a Cell is scheduled, you know, in the yearly pay-per-view schedule, scheduled before Saudi Arabia, they're forced to do a Hell in a Cell match, right? They do a Hell in a Cell match, and then next we have a Falls Count Anywhere. And so I suppose if this feud were to keep going, the next match after the Falls Count Anywhere match would be a normal singles match. And then maybe after that, they can have an arm wrestling match. And if they don't settle the feud by then, perhaps a pillow fight or one of those mud wrestling matches. Because this is how stupid this is. Why would Seth Rollins or Bray Wyatt be inhibited, limited, or persuaded at all by a Falls Count Anywhere match? Why are we to believe that it would end in any way other than the way it did at Hell in a Cell? What prevents Seth Rollins from taking a chair, beating Bray Wyatt, and sledgehammering him? It stopped the Hell in a Cell match. Why can't it stop a Falls Count Anywhere match? Nonetheless, after this is announced, they have a little segment of the Firefly Fire. What the fuck? Firefly Funhouse. Seth Rollins invades, attacks Bray Wyatt, and burns it down. In other words, he takes out a lighter or something and lights Bray Wyatt's table on fire. The table lit really quick, which means that it was doused in some sort of chemical fluid or rubbing alcohol or something to catch fire. Now, if you're going to do that, if you're going to gimmick the table so it lights up faster, why not have Seth Rollins just take like one of those canisters of lighter fluid and just spray it all over the table, right? So it seems like he's, actually put some thought into it. Now, Seth Rollins' catchphrase is burn it down. And because it's his catchphrase, he decided to burn down Bray Wyatt's table. Like we're supposed to care. Randy Orton burned down his house. We're supposed to care about a table? Get the fuck out of here, man. Anyways, motherfuckers, you can all go fuck yourselves because this show completely sucked. I'm telling you, I'm actually starting to become an AEW fan. I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm actually looking forward to it. This morning, I was thinking to myself, man, is it Wednesday yet? I'd like to see what Jericho does. AEW is starting to feel more and more like a wrestling show, whereas WWE is starting to feel like the garbage that it's been for a couple of years. So we'll see. We'll see about AEW. The jury's still out on that one, but insofar as this show sucks, there you go. Insofar as this show goes, it completely sucked ass. Stay tuned for more videos from me, motherfuckers. We're making this channel huge. Don't even worry about it. I know some of my videos, this is what, my fifth video. Some of them have 30, 40 views. The AEW one has like a few hundred, I think 350 or something like that. I'm creeping up on you motherfuckers. Anyone that sees this video and is subscribed to those idiots, those whatever TWSF, whatever those assholes are, or the Brad Rules, all these other guys, I'm the new sheriff in town. I'm the daddy around here. You just wait. You give me a shot. I'm creeping up on all of them. Wrestling Jesus, Smart Busters. You ain't never seen nothing like me yet, bitches. All right. I'm heading out now. So, if you have any kind of communication with those people, and they even so much as mention the name of the hater, let them know. I'm coming for your views. I'm coming for your subscribers. I'm coming for your soul. Go fuck it.